The Hemp Wizard Signature Series artists are Walking Corpse Syndrome, So High, Black Sasquatch, Fester, You can give your beard the magic touch by going to hempwizard.net today and rock out with your... Just kidding.
Get ready! Get ready! Get ready! Welcome to the Hard Rocket Sports Studios and another edition of the weekly video recap. And that's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another live edition of the Hard Rocket Sports Show, live from high atop Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 3-hour weekly get-together. We bring you all the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. And, guys, thank you for tuning in on this Thursday night, the second day of November, and the official kickoff of the Christmas season on the Hard Rocket Sports Show. In the year of our good Lord 2023. So thank you guys for everybody tuning in tonight. Lots of good stuff going on. It's been a crazy week. I got a lot of stuff going on. We'll be doing a couple remote shows in the future. That's right. We'll be doing some remote shows. So keep it tuned for that. I will be on the road for a couple of weeks. So the show will be live from other places. So stick around. We got more info on that. But in the meantime, it's been a good week. The weather's getting a little chippy out there. It's been a lot about jackets and gloves this week. So I hope you guys are ready. And it was a good week. Lots of good things, but tough. If you're a Giant fan, we had a rough Sunday. It wasn't pleasant for anybody. If you watched that game, you cannot come out of there with a pleasant feeling about either team. But one team won. It wasn't my Giants. It was one of the worst losses I've ever watched for a variety of reasons, of which I can't blame too many people. And I'll explain it. I was hot on Sunday. I'll be honest with you, folks. I was hot Sunday watching that game. First off, I sat through 3.5 hours of just terrible football. Now, I'll tell you this. If you like running the football and playing defenses, you saw a lot of good. It's old school football, but it was bad football. When you can't throw the football from the Giants standpoint, because your quarterback, you don't trust your quarterback, that's bad. When you can't throw the football because you're the Jets and Zach Wilson sucks, well, that's a whole different problem. But either way, neither team could throw the football until the last 2 or 3 minutes of football, and the Jets were the only ones who could do it, and they won the game. Now, there's some controversy over bad refereeing, questionable Giant coaching calls. Again, there's a little bit of everything. The bottom line is the Jets won a very ugly game that probably should have ended 10-10 tie, but it didn't. and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about a lot of weird stuff on Sunday football. Texas Rangers win the World Series. I got a lot of music stuff. We got a lot to get to and a lot to talk about. And I'm not sure this is going to go to 9:00 tonight. I'm not sure. I got a lot of stuff to do tonight, and I want to get to it. So we might kill this one about 8:30. So, but let's get it going right now. Let's get my partner in crime of 40 years and the sexiest man on his side of the screen. Let's get Mr. Jeff Holowinski on the air with me. What's up, brother?
No, I've been waiting for this moment since Sunday night, and I can't wait. And I want to explain why.
Go ahead. Take it away.
All right. I heard.
Wait. Jeff, how was your week?
Great, because the Jets won. Anyway, back to what I was about to say. Yeah. I heard your long-winded intro. It
was 1 minute.
Your long-winded intro, hyping up a Giants loss, that it's not their fault, all this other shit.
I didn't say it wasn't their fault.
Let me explain something to you.
Please.
The last term I saw quarterback play like that. Okay.
From both teams.
Hold on now. Geno Smith was the quarterback of the New York Jets. Your guy threw for 0.9 yards total after sacks.
I'm not arguing.
Now, I'm not done yet. I didn't interrupt you. Okay. I couldn't interrupt you.
You couldn't.
I wish I had a mute button. I could mute you now. Okay. You say about Zach Wilson, and I'll be the first person to say that Zach Wilson does suck. But not only did Zach Wilson suck, okay, but the Giants, that was not a defensive game.
Sure it was.
Please don't kid yourself and tell me and tell these people that it was a defensive game. Neither offense had any kind of quarterback that could move the ball at all whatsoever. Brian Dable had no confidence at all in that kid DeVito.
Agreed.
Now, wait a minute now. Now, there was nothing that they can do. Saquon Barkley, I'm surprised. I'll say this much. The Jets played retarded because all they had to do was put 8 people on the line for most of the game because they knew that kid couldn't throw the ball. There was no reason Barkley got over 100 yards rushing.
I agree with you. And if he didn't fall down, would have scored a winning touchdown to end the game. So I agree with you. I on all points so far, I agree. Neither quarterback was any good. The Giants had no faith in DeVito, and maybe rightfully so. I'm not sure. And the Jet defense was, I think, not as good as they should have been because Barkley should never have run for 130 yards.
Well, the only reason he got 130 yards is because he ran the ball, like 32 times?
It doesn't matter. He still gained, 130 yards. To me, your other point was great. I would have put 9 guys in the box and said throw the football, and they would never have done it. And he would have.
And as far as Zach Wilson goes, listen, he's proven time and time again that there's a reason why they went after Aaron Rodgers.
Sure,
that guy just, I mean, come on now, please.
Oh, it was horrendous. I mean, if
any Jet fan thinks that they have the answer with him there, I really don't know what more to tell you there. That's so sad.
Think about this, Jeff. They had a really nice play by Breece Hall for a touchdown. The game against the Eagles, they scored a touchdown. They were let to score. And what did they score? I mean, so offensively, they're as inept as the Giants are, and the Giants are inept. I'll grant you defensively, they're a good team. But let's be honest, the Giants, a great team, would never let Saquon Barkley run for 130 yards in that game with a quarterback who threw for -1 yard.
No, I have to agree with you.
Yeah. So now let's get to the game a little bit here. I want to get down to the nitty-gritty. I want to get my dad on quick, but it's a minute and change left. The Giants have the ball. They're deep. They get it down to now 20, let's call it 30 seconds left, and they have the option at 4th and 1, 35-yard field goal, or go for on 4th and 1 and take a shot at it. Jeff, you're the coach of the New York Giants. Do you disagree with the coach of the New York Giants going for the field goal? Would you have gone for it? Do you think either way, if he goes for either or and it fails, he's not going to get second guessed?
Well, he's going to get second guessed, but you know what, Tom? I know you're not going to agree with this, but let's call it for what it is. The Giants are a bad team. Okay, no matter what they do, they're going to get second guessed for. There's a lot of armchair quarterbacks out there and coaches that think they know better. I happen to be one of them. Okay. I think that Brian Dable has made several questionable calls this year. And after what he did last year to get that team into the playoffs, certainly is not doing the same thing this year. But that's another story. You asked another question.
Yep.
I think if it was up to me, I would always try to go with the more surefire points. If it's the end of the game and you could kick a field goal, I think I would have went with the field goal. Okay, because if they got the field goal, they're actually putting points on the board with seconds left. Nobody in that stadium, not Robert Saleh, not Zach Wilson, nobody in that stadium thought the Jets were going to come back. That is one of those things. It's not a feel-good story. It's not, well, it could have been, it could have happened. They have the ability. That was just pure luck.
Sure.
Pure absolute luck. Zach Wilson doesn't connect one pass most of the game. He throws 2 29-yarders. And I don't know what that kid's name is, but I would like to thank the MVP of the Jet game, who was the Giant defensive back that mugged. Was it Alan Lazard, I believe?
Yes. Lazard, yes.
Absolutely. That wasn't a 29-yard completion. That was a mugging. Okay? They got the ball there because of a defensive penalty. If you take away the penalty, nothing even says that Alan Lazard catches the ball in that situation. All right? So if you're a Jet fan and you're watching, don't all of a sudden think that the Jets, use their skill to win that game. No, they just happen to have a sliver of luck shine through a couple clouds and shine down upon them for a few seconds. That's all that game was.
Yeah,
that was not a defensive struggle when neither offense is able to do anything. If they were moving the ball somewhat, there was 23 punts.
23 points, 24 punts.
23.24, 23, call it 23, punts, whatever. 23 punts is not a defensive struggle. There would have been some offensive plays here and there, and there was none. Okay, there was none. Brian Dable and the Giants coaching staff had no fucking hope and no faith behind DeVito. No. We don't know what kind of a quarterback he is. Maybe you know anything about him. I know.
All I know is what I saw. All I saw was what I saw in the preseason. He played in a couple of games, played quite a bit, and like I've told a few people this week, I have no idea if he could play quarterback in this league or not. But he played quarterback in the preseason, and he looked like a quarterback. He dropped back, he threw the football, he completed passes. Could he do that in the game against the Jets? Obviously, he didn't. For his first pass was nearly picked him down the sideline. So I think after that, they basically said, all right, we're running the football here. And listen, the Giants made a great call. They ran the RPO. He faked the ball to Barkley, and DeVito runs for the touchdown. Great play call, great execution, good job. And he didn't make any major mistakes. So, okay.
He didn't make any major mistakes because they didn't allow him to throw the ball.
Well, think about this. Zach Wilson almost gave the game away, and I won't blame him specifically, but they bring in a new center, and Matt Ryan immediately goes, you got to be careful of the center quarterback exchange here. And on cue, they fumbled the center quarterback exchange, and the Giants kept the ball and should have ended the game, and it didn't happen. But so what I'm saying is he didn't fumble a ball. He didn't miss a handoff. He didn't do anything stupid other than manage the game. And they were in a position to win. So I'll give Dable and the Giants credit. They played well enough on defense, and they didn't do anything stupid on offense, and they had a chance with 24 seconds to ice the game. Would I have gone for them 4th and 1? That's the question I can't answer for myself. Now, here's the thing. We've come to find out that Graham Gano is so hurt, he's having surgery. So now I say to myself, well, if I know he's hurt, he's already missed one field goal, but he did make another 35-yarder and an extra point, which is 33. So if you're Dable and you're in that spot in the driving rain, what do? I don't know the answer. The answer for me would have probably been, Graham, can you make it? Yes, kick the field goal, because I honestly, truly am not sure I had a lot of faith that Saquon Barkley was going to get the 1 yard he needed at that point. And no matter what happens, if the Giants don't get it, he's going to get second guessed, because the first thing would have been said, Jeff, is, well, why didn't you just kick the field goal? It's a chip shot.
No, listen. I hear you. Hold on one second. She's
Sure.
good over there. Yeah. I have my on-air partner.
Oh, listen, we can't. We gotta have our mascot with us. So no problem. Our third host.
It just listen. It was a bad game. It was bad weather. It was nastiness. You had two quarterbacks that sucked.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm going to retract that. You're going to have one quarterback that we know sucked. The other quarterback that the jury is out on because we don't know what he could have done because he wasn't allowed to do anything.
Exactly.
I understand Brian Dable's position, but I got to say, with a team that made the playoffs last year, I got to question some of his.
Oh, listen, I think he coached scared. I think last year the thing what everybody loved about Dable was, all the brashness, going for it on four, going for two when he didn't need to, or going for it on fourth down a bunch of times when he probably should have punted or kicked the field goal. There was a lot of stuff that Brian Dable did last year that he's not doing this year. Now, I don't know if he's coaching to the weaknesses or strengths of his team. I'm not in a spot where I say fire Brian Dable at all at this point. He's had a team that's been hurt all year. I mean, he's had both offensive tackles out. His quarterback missed 3 games. He probably should have won the Bills game if Tyrod Taylor completes one pass in the end zone at any point, halftime or the end. Should have won this week's game. So theoretically, I think Brian Dable's done a decent job, but not good enough. And listen, the feet to the fire, man. The people are out there screaming and yelling.
I remember in the past, with you and the way that you felt about Giant coaches, you like to hold on to them until the bitter end when they can't get anything else out of them and you want to try to, he deserves years and this, that, and the other thing. This isn't a team that I feel that's built for years. And I think they sent a bad message. I agree with everything that I read in the papers about them getting rid of Leonard Williams, although I feel as though that Leonard Williams was not the player that people think he is. But going by what I read, I think the Giants showed, a little belly by getting rid of Leonard Williams because now that's going to put some pressure on Dexter Lawrence.
Sure.
And if they had moved a few more, I think they would have been saying we're kind of giving up on the season here.
Agreed. And I think that they said was they never shopped Leonard Williams, that they got a call from the Seahawks and said, hey, we're interested.
They were interested from last year.
Right. So, and they said, okay, we'll, what are you looking to give up? And to be honest with you, they got more for Leonard Williams than they gave up. They got a 2 and a 5. They gave up a 3 and a 4, I think it was.
They got more for Leonard Williams than the Washington Redskins got for that kid, Chase Young.
Yeah. So, and they also went to Leonard Williams and said, hey, we got an opportunity to trade you. Do you want to go? And he didn't say yes or no, I guess, or what. He obviously didn't put a fight to not go. I think they gave him the option to say, you got a chance to go to a team that's probably, ready, has a chance to win. We might be rebuilding. We might not get there. What do you want to do? And I didn't, they renegotiated his contract for him. And, Leonard Williams went along his way, said nice things about the Giants. And while I don't like the message it possibly sends to the clubhouse, I think it also sends the message, if you ain't going to do your job, we're going to get rid of you. And not that Leonard Williams didn't do his job, but I think it sends the message. And you're right, it did not send the message of we gave up on the season because we only got rid of one guy and we got at a position where we have a lot of depth. So, and I thought it was a great move. I don't think there's anybody who could say the Giants didn't do well in the trade.
Well, it's not that I don't think they didn't do well in the trade. Okay.
You're worried about the messages.
Draft picks aren't going to help them this year. We know that. They're for next year and the future.
Sure.
But, just thinking about this, I think that in a way it was a smart trade. And the reason I say it was smart is because in the past, when they let Landon Collins go and they got nothing for him,
right?
They didn't even try to trade him. And they said that there was a good chance that they were not going to sign him again.
Right.
So, you know what? I think that in that regard, it was a smart trade. If you were trying to show the team and the rest of the league that you weren't just going to roll over, I think that it would have been smarter to keep him
in
that instance. But you're also showing that I don't know. I think it was a better move. And Leonard Williams is getting up there in his career.
Sure.
Now he has a chance to go to a playoff team, second playoff team in 2 years. Maybe he gets to win. I don't think that Seattle is going to be a Super Bowl favorite, but listen, you never know. And I asked the question: are we on live? Because we don't. I don't see anybody.
We're definitely on. So there's 3 people watching for sure on Hard Rocket Sports because that's up on my screen. And we got Adam Hines and Jay Giasio have liked the show, so we're definitely up there. So whether anybody's popped in or not yet, and we're going to get my dad on in a second. But I agree. And I also think, Jeff, if they were in a position, if they had won either Buffalo or the Jets, if they won either one of those games, I think Leonard Williams is still on this team. I think if Leonard Williams was possibly signed through next year, you might have had him back next year. You might not have traded him. But with his contract ending and you're doubtful for the playoffs at this moment, not only 2 games out, but you got to jump a whole bunch of teams, I think it was a smart move just for the reasons you said. You're probably not bringing him back. Why not get something? And it wasn't like you got a 7th-round pick for him. You got a number 2.
No,
you got a number 5.
Picks for him. That's a lot for us, for somebody like Leonard Williams. The guy had 1.5 sacks.
Yeah, well, again, Leonard Williams did a lot of the dirty job that freed up a lot of people, and I think and I also think he's huge in that locker room, and I think that's the tough part of the trade. But again, you got to give up something to get something, and I'm all for draft capital. We'll get into it late in the season. If the Giants have a top 10 pick, which way do they go? Do they trade up? I don't know. It's way too early. They play the Raiders this week. They get the Redskins the following week, and then the Cowboys. So they got a couple winnable games. We'll talk about the Raiders and the dysfunction out there soon. But if you win, you got to win this next 2 games and put yourself back in a position where the games in late November, Jeff, and December count and matter. Hey, Joey Cloak.
Yeah, no, listen, Tom, I hear you. I know what you're saying, but it's still the thought and idea that you're in a position. Do you still have time? When you look at the league, there's so many teams that are 4-3. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, is anybody out yet? Is there anybody that's truly out? Maybe Chicago. Yeah. A few other teams possibly, but if you're a little bit close to 500, I think you still got a chance.
Well, we'll look at it. I mean, really, Jeff, and I want to get my dad on, but who's really the best team in the NFC? Let's keep the AFC out of it for now. Who's really the best team in the NFC? I mean, the Niners have lost 3 straight games.
Yeah, I know.
The Eagles they lost to the Jets. They almost lost to the Redskins. I mean, Cowboys. Maybe the Cowboys are the best team in the NFC right now. I don't know, but I don't think we've seen the best team. I'll throw my hat in the ring for the Lions, but even they got their asses kicked 2 weeks ago by the Ravens. So I think the NFC is completely wide open, and a couple of wins by the Giants could get them right back in this thing, and we'll see. Well, it's still a little too. Now, a loss this week to the Raiders, cap the season. You know what? Stop playing the rookies and let's move on because it's over. So 2 must wins, and then let's see where you're at. And that's get to Thanksgiving, and let's hope for at that time you make a run. We'll see what happens. But let's get my dad on. And then I want to talk a lot. There's a lot of football to talk about. I want
to talk about the Redskins trading those 2 guys that Joe.
Absolutely, Joey. We got a lot of football to get to. We got some Dokken news, George Lynch news, Maiden stories. Again, we're going to talk a lot about some quarterbacks. Again, I want to squeeze it all in. Try to maybe get done by 8:30 tonight. I got a lot of stuff to do. But Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom, thanks for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate it. We love having everybody with us every week. And we got, of course, we'll end the show with the Raider report. And I don't know if the man upstairs has picked up on the fact that his team's in turmoil, Jeff, but I guess we got a series of Raider reports to play, and we'll do that before the show's over. So right now, let's get my dad on, and then we'll get back to some more football talk. What's up, Pop?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. What's going on, Dad?
Well, I don't have much to say. I got to say, I'm embarrassed for the New York teams, for the Giants and the Jets to put what they put out on the field last Sunday. They should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, it took them almost 4 quarters, 3.5 quarters to get a first down. I mean, I've never heard of that. I've seen Pee Wee football play better than that, more disciplined. And the only reason the Giants were still in it because the Jets are just as sloppy as they were. And their quarterbacks, they should be ashamed of. At 5 years quarterback, and you don't know what you got now. You got to know the guy sucks. He's terrible.
Well, I think the Jets are stuck, though. That I understand that, and I agree with you 100%. There's no doubt. I don't think even Jeff would argue that, Zach Wilson's not the answer. And the problem for the Jets is Aaron Rodgers on the 4th play of this season tore his Achilles. So they're stuck with them. And I think if you're the Jets, even though he's terrible, guys, I think if you're the Jets, you got to be clapping your hands, and you're 4-3. I mean, at this point, it could have easily been a 2-5 team, and they're 4-3.
2-5.
Yeah, I'm just saying is you beat Buffalo that night, and that night could have been a disaster. You beat the Eagles, right? I mean, you won some games that you probably should never have won. I mean, you won this week. You should never have won that game. Knock the kid all you want. I will too. He at least, when the time came and he had to make a play, he made 2 plays and won a football game. Wait a
minute, back up. He made 1 play.
Oh, no, but I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying is he at least did what he had to do to win a football game. So I'll give him credit. So they could easily be 2-5 right now. So Pop, I agree with you. If you're the Jets, you got to be jumping up and down saying, "Thank God we're 4-3." It may all go to shit for here, but at this point, at least you're still in it.
I don't think that I sat here. I couldn't even get mad at them because it was embarrassing. Wow. It was embarrassing. Sure. Everybody was making fun of them all over the country.
Yeah,
they were actually making fun of them. You listen to the other.
Oh, sure.
They were laughing at Phil Simms. They were laughing at. Come on, it was embarrassing. They should have never let them. Should have took them off TV.
That's interesting because that obviously contractually in the New York area they can't. But you're right. If this was another game, they would have not got out of this game hours ago, and went to another game. But they unfortunately contractually, and I stayed. Listen, I watched every minute of the entire game all the way to the end. And had they won, I would have been all right. They sucked, but I won. And so, listen, a win is a win. You take it, you run, and you learn from it. You hope for if you're the Jets.
I don't take from the Jets. The Jets, I know. If I'm a Jet fan, I know the only thing that's going to happen if he comes back this year, Rodgers, they're going to be a better team. You have something to look forward to. I don't think he's coming back, but if he does, you got a better team. But the Giants, holy moly, you got to be kidding. They were better off just going in the stands and picking people up, the biggest, fattest people, because they got no future.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I would tell you it's just not pretty right now. And they have the option, right? Not the option. They have a opportunity to start riding the ship. And if you don't, you don't. I mean, then it's not where it needs to be, and you move forward. I think there's some talent here. Can they get it working? I don't know. Got to get everybody in the field. You've had an offensive lineman. Your best offensive lineman has been out since the 2nd game of the season. He played the 1st game, and he's been out 6 or 7 weeks now with a hamstring pull. Okay? So, I mean, at some point, you got to get on the field. They've had injuries all over the place.
They've had problems with the offensive line well into the Dave Gettleman era.
Sure.
Nobody is fixing that problem. You can't be successful, and I'm not saying the Jets have it, don't get me wrong, but you can't be successful without an offensive line. They're doing nothing to fix they're trying, they just keep missing. And if you don't hit once in a while, it doesn't matter. You could get Evan Neal, the kid Thomas, whatever. Both of them are out. It means nothing.
I agree.
It only means who you got playing there right now, and right now, neither team has a good offensive front.
I agree. And now this week, again, I'll stake it to this week. You're going to play the Raiders, who are a decent defensive team and a bad offensive team. If you're the Giants, you got to go out to Vegas. You're going to get both tackles back. You got your starting center back. You're moving Pugh into guard. Everybody's back to 100%. Everybody's back on the offensive line. You got a healthy Saquon. You got a healthy Daniel Jones. go win a football game. And if you go out there and you score 7 points or you score 10 points, then you know you got a big problem, and it's time to tank it.
Let me tell you, if the Giants can't beat Oakland, the Raiders, whatever you want to call them, they don't have no manager. They got rid of the GM. They got rid of them. Come on.
I agree.
It's got to be turmoil all over that place. If you don't beat them, you might as well just give people their money back.
I couldn't argue that point. That's why I say this next 2 weeks against the Raiders, who have obviously cashed it in. They're benching Garoppolo, Jeff. There's a guy they paid all that money to, and they're going with a 4th round draft pick rookie to start this week. You're the Giants, and you got to go out there and just beat the crap out of this Raider team, and then come back and beat the Redskins, and then just let's see where chips fall where they may at that point. But if you come out of this you can't go 1-1. You certainly can't go 0-2. You got to win 2-0 in these next 2 and start to right the ship. But listen, and then we'll see let's see if they put it together. If they don't, they don't. But as far as what I saw Sunday, it was bad football from both teams. I was a bad refereed game. At the end of that thing, the refs made 3 or 4 really bad calls.
That was another thing I meant to say.
Yeah.
They had no business running that play. The referee's supposed to put the ball down.
That's correct. That is correct.
They were so hurrying, giving them a second to throw that ball.
100%.
Field goal. There was no reason for it.
That is 100. You're 100% correct. The referee had to place the ball.
Right.
The Jet center placed the ball. The referee barely got there to touch it, and then got out of the way. And they had 1 second. If the referee had picked it up and placed it the way he's supposed to, that doesn't get off. There's also, when they completed the 29-yard pass to Lazard, there was an offside penalty on Kayvon Thibodeau, who had a great game, by the way. And they went back and looked, and he wasn't offside. So why is that big? Why is it big? Because it stopped the clock after Lazard. So if the Jets had to run all the way up there to spike the ball, think about it. There was no time left for the next play. But because the flag got thrown, the time got called, and the Jets were able to run a play. This is no excuses. I'm just saying there's a lot of factors into this game. Giants didn't get any plays, didn't get any calls, and they lost.
Yeah, but how many officials are on the field when it came to the Jets spotting their own ball? How many officials are on the field? Nobody said anything?
No, that's the point, Jeff.
One person said anything?
No, that's the point. It's the umpire is supposed to be the guy, runs up. He has to pick it up, place it, get out of the way, make sure that both teams have made, if the Jets made any substitutions, which they didn't, the Giants are allowed to make, the ball gets held until the Giants make a substitution. It never happened, but the referee has to pick up the ball and spot it. He did not. So it's a problem. Did anybody pick it up? Absolutely not. Did the referees overlook it? Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Doesn't matter. The Giants lost. You're not going backwards. And listen, there's bad calls every week. We can go back. There's bad calls in every game. So you can't live with that.
A missed call or a bad call is one thing. Procedure is something completely different.
No, disagree with you on that.
No.
Yes,
if your job is to go there, spot the ball, pick up the ball, and spot the ball, and you didn't do it, you didn't do your job.
No, agreed. And
today's day and age, with sports betting and everything else on the line with football, it's not just watching a football game and grandpa went down the corner and placed a bet in the bar. It's a lot bigger than that right now.
Sure, of course it is.
Okay? That falls on the refs. That is not a bad call. That is a lack of procedure. They didn't do the right job.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm a Jet fan, so to me, I'm glad they didn't do the right job because the Jets ended up winning the game.
Absolutely, of course. Listen, and I feel the same way if it was the Giants.
But overall, let's be honest, if he did his job and he did the right thing, the Jets wouldn't have had the 1 second left on the clock to do what they did.
Correct. Right. So again, bad job by the refs. Jets did what they had to do to win the game. Nobody's to me, I would never blame that on the loss of the game. You lost the game because you missed a field goal and then you couldn't stop a team for 24 seconds that you stopped for 49 minutes and 36 seconds. You stopped them. They didn't do anything against you. For 24 seconds, you couldn't stop them. You don't deserve to win. That's just it. That you had every opportunity to shut the Jets down, and you didn't. And you lost, and All right, let's go. Let's move on to Las Vegas and 4:25 this Sunday. I'll be watching the Giants and the Raiders and hoping for a win. So
All
what else
right,
you got?
guys. Tommy, I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, Jeff, take care.
You good,
Nice
Mr.
seeing you,
Porter.
buddy.
Same
All right,
here.
take care, guys.
All right, that's my pops. He checks in every week with us. Love having him, and I'm gonna get to spend a week with pops in the next couple of days. So I'm looking forward to that. In fact, next Thursday night, from the alternate studio, pops will be sitting next to me.
Oh, really?
So, yep.
Okay.
Pop will so we'll be hanging together down in Florida together. So, looking forward to that. Frankie, let me go back to Frankie's thing real quick. Frankie, you're 100% right. The Giants should never have been in that position. But Frankie, Jeff, and I were talking about it. I can't blame Dable because either way, to me, if you got a chance for a 35-yard field goal or 4th and 1, it's a flip of the coin. To me, I would have did what Dable did. I had no faith that they were going to make 1 yard in that position. The Jets would have came up there with everybody, and the Giants have not done that well this year in that position. I would have kicked the field goal. He's already made a 35-yard. He's already made a 33-yard extra point. I would have did it. I don't blame Dable. I think he coached the best way he could. Now, Dable of last year, Jeff, I think he goes for the 4th and 1. And think about this. If you do that and a play takes 2 or 3 seconds, maybe the game ends. Maybe it doesn't end. I don't know. But you can't but Frankie's right. You cannot let them march down the field for any reason, regardless of what the referees do.
And listen, if the game, if something had gone differently, the game ends differently.
Yep.
Here's the bottom line. The Jets got a W.
Yep.
You're a Giant fan. You don't like it. Frank's a Bronco fan. He don't like it. And I'm a Jet fan, and I couldn't care less how either one of you feel.
I don't blame you.
The Jets got the win. That's it.
That's it. And that's all that matters in the play.
Don't make me make fun of you. Please. I'm asking in a nice way.
Frankie's team had a good weekend. We'll get to that in a little bit. We'll talk about the Raiders and what's going on over there. I do want to talk about
this week.
What?
I want to see what Frank's team does this week.
I think they're off this week.
I know. So they didn't do anything.
But let's talk a little bit about around football right now. Let's go around the league a little bit here. And the Redskins.
Listen. What the hell was that? What was that? Why do you trade away both your defensive ends? What the fuck were they thinking? You want to talk, and now they think that they're going to try to get this kid going, a quarterback? What is the point?
Yeah, I don't know. That was a game that they should have won. They were up big against Philly. I watched a lot of some of that game, and they're just a bad team, and he's a bad coach. And if he doesn't get fired this offseason, I would be shocked. And I'm happy.
You're going way off track. Let's just stick on this one thing. We know. How do you give up 2 young defensive ends like that? Okay,
I'll tell you why. I can tell you exactly why.
Huh?
I'll tell you why. I can tell you exactly why. Sure, I can tell you exactly why. Because you drafted 4 guys on the defensive line in the first round of the draft and didn't build up anything else. And the 4 guys you drafted, I bet you, and I don't know this for sure, I bet you they haven't played a total of 15 games, 16 games together in the last 3 years.
They probably haven't, but I also know this much. I would have retained one of them because you still need to get 2 defensive ends now.
I'm not disagreeing with you. And the one guy they didn't trade is the guy who wanted out. So, again, they must have had people looking. Chase Young is a bust. He has not played enough. He has not done anything when he has played. Chase Young is a bust. The other kid, Montez Sweat, is actually a decent player. I don't think he's worthy of the number 1 pick, but he's a really good player. Chase Young is, looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. The guy never plays, and when he does play, he does nothing. So, but I get your point. But to their end,
you still have to replace them now. So even if you got draft picks, you still have to replace these players.
Agreed.
Free agency, draft, whatever. You still have to replace them. I myself, I understand what you're saying. I couldn't care less if they drafted all 4 number 1 4 years in a row. You just created holes. And I don't know, I don't remember what they got for Montez Sweat, but they really didn't get a boatload of picks for Chase Young.
No.
And maybe Chase Young needed a change of scenery. Maybe each one of them needed a change of scenery. I could see how people would get tired of playing in Washington. They've been a bad team for years.
Oh my God, they're horrendous. Yeah, I agree with you. But listen, I think that signals we give up. It has to be, because you can't trade two of those guys away. Your best part of your team is your defense. Supposedly your defensive line, but it's not very good. And you trade two pieces of that away, I think you've basically given up. Now, what they do the rest of the year, I don't know, but I would agree with you. This was a perplexing move. I don't think they got. I can look it up. You want to know what they got for those guys? I can look it up.
Well, what they get for Chase? A third and a sixth or something like that?
Let's see right now. I'll tell you in a second. Chase Young.
It wasn't like they got a first or second rounder for either one of them.
No, they didn't. Let's see. Commanders trade Chase Young. Let's see. Ed. Let's see. Chase Young trade grades. They might have got a second round pick, I think. Chase Young trade 49ers Ed. Phone number 2 overall. Never mind. I'm sorry. Let's see. Young. Come on, Washington declined. What was the pick? Not telling me. The Braves, a compensatory pick they were reportedly giving up, which means it'll come at the bottom of the third round. So you got the bottom of the third round, or basically a high fourth round pick for him.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they got it. They got basically a low grade. The 49ers got an A+ on the trade, and the Commanders or the Redskins got a C+ on it. So they got basically nothing from the. Basically, they were not going to re-sign him next year, so they got whatever they could to get rid of him. So you basically,
I still, you would think that they would be looking to re-sign one of them. This reminds me of the Jets without giving a second contract to players. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah, and a lot of teams, but yeah, that's Montez Sweat. Let's see what they got for him. Another first round pick. Commanders get a second round pick for him. Send the Commanders a 2024 second round pick.
Okay.
So Sweat went for number 2, and a what's his name? The Niners gave up a number 3 late third round, but based because of where they're going to finish. So not great, but a little better with Sweat at least a number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, a bad look if you're Washington, Jeff. You're basically, I think, sent in a signal. You sent in that you have thrown in a towel. Do you get that vibe, or you think it's just a?
I mean, listen, unless you were getting second round picks for these guys, and you're definitely saying to Chase Young that okay, we didn't have anything on you or for you or with you. Yeah. And I mean, not that they should care how Chase Young feels, but I mean, listen, you're having a fire sale, get the most you can,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I agree. But, that's weird. Tell me what's going on in Las Vegas. I mean, middle of the season, first off, Jeff, I think we can both agree. Josh McDaniel never gets another head coaching job at this point, right?
No, I would think that his career as a head coach is over unless he goes to the high school level.
And unless he winds up back in New England and Kraft gives him a job, would be the only place I could see him getting a head coaching job. And even then, I couldn't see it. I think his head coaching days in the pros is over.
I got to agree.
Yeah, and we've now got to look at the Belichick coaching tree and go, really, Mangini may have been the best coach out of that tree. I mean, if you think about Charlie Weiss, if you think about Mangini, Joe Judge, I'm sure there's a couple of guys on the top of my head. There's not. I mean, as great as Belichick is, I'm not getting the thought that his tree is great, the pros.
I think they watered his tree too much and the roots rotted.
Yeah. So
and what I saw, and I didn't read the article, maybe I should have. there was rumors of the Redskins trading for Bill Belichick as a coach. Did you see that?
I did not see that anywhere. No, I did not. Was that really a thing? Let me see if I can.
I saw one article about it, so I don't know.
We'll just type in a Belichick trade. Wild rumor: Patriots Commanders talking Bill Belichick trade. Yeah, it's a real thing. It was wild rumor: New England Patriots, Washington Commanders, I call them Redskins, talking Bill Belichick trade. Let's see what it says real fast. Napkin requisition notwithstanding, New England Patriots Belichick era could end as it began. And then Mike Florio hinted the Patriots' work with the Washington Commanders could go beyond Sunday showdown at Gillette Stadium. Washington and the reboot with new management. No. So there would be no better way for Josh Harris to. It's not so. It's not so. Again, it's just people spitballing. Nobody's saying that there isn't anything running around that there's a talk about this. These are just what if type of thing.
And let me ask you something else too.
Yeah, no.
Let's just say that it is real and 100%. You're Belichick. Why in God's name would you want to leave the Patriots where you've been for how many years and you can't do anything with them over there since Brady left to go over to the Redskins who haven't been able to do anything for 15 years before you got to the Patriots?
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with you more. If you're Belichick and you're going to coach after you leave this, and I have to truly believe that. Although I did hear that he signed an extension, so I don't think he's going anywhere unless he gets traded, obviously, which I don't know how that works.
Well, there's been traded coaches in the past, and
yeah, but you're talking about he's 70 years old. Is he going to want to uproot and go there? But if he was going to leave there, I think it would be for either the Chargers, a team that needs a coach. I could think of probably several teams that he would be better off trying to get to than going to agreeing to go to the Redskins. So yeah, absolutely right. Yes, they did extend him, so he's not going anywhere. I don't think they're letting him go. I think he's going to be the coach there until he drops dead if he wants. So I don't see him leaving anywhere on this.
How many more? If you're the Patriots, how much longer are you going to leave him there? I understand what he's done, but I mean, come on, you got to be kidding me. It's got to get to a point where you're like, listen, you got to do something. You haven't won a Super Bowl in a very, very long time. You got to do something.
I agree. Well, I think here's the thing. What I look at, and I'm not sure how this would go over with him, but I don't think there's a problem with Bill Belichick, the head coach. I think the problem is Bill Belichick, the general manager. It's kind of the same thing as Jerry Jones. At some point, Bill's lost the touch on bringing in, the guys to do that are going to lead you to win and be great players. There's been too many misses. If I was Robert Kraft, I would have to go to him and say, Bill, I love you. We're bringing in a general manager. You coach the team. You'll have a say in the players, but we got to bring a general manager in who's going to, bring in the right guys. And I think that's what I would do if I was Robert Kraft. But what are your thoughts?
I hear what you're saying, but here's the thing. How much longer till Bill Belichick says, you know what, I don't know if I want to coach anymore. And I don't know if I want to be on a team that needs as much help as this one does. I just don't want to be here. I don't want to coach. Sooner or later, that's what's going to end up happening, no?
Oh, I would agree with that. The problem is he just signed, let's assume it's a 3-year extension. So I'm not sure what it was, but we can look it up. But I think he still wants to coach. I don't think it's a problem with his coaching ability. I think it's a problem with his general manager. And I think he just lost his eye for talent. Maybe, he's not putting in the work in the film room, watching these kids play. Maybe he's got a bad scouting department. I don't know the answer. But if I was Robert Kraft, I said, Bill, you can coach my team forever, but I got to bring in a real general manager. I got to bring in a guy outside of this place who's a real general manager and put together a team on the field to help you, and then take it from there. Whether his ego would allow it, Jeff, I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I hear that.
So, yeah, I again, Frank is right. It happens. Broncos traded for Peyton. I get all of that stuff, but
there was another. Didn't they? Didn't somebody trade for Gruden? Didn't the Raiders trade for Gruden?
Might have been his rights. I'm not sure. Not sure. I'd have to look that
I
up.
believe that they traded for Gruden.
Yeah, and again, look, the Raiders. I don't get the. I mean, I get the fact that I don't understand cutting your firing your coach in midseason. I don't know what it does. Your general manager in the middle of the season. I get it. You're just elevating a couple of guys. You're benching Garoppolo. I mean, you're stuck with the guy for a couple of years. Even if unless you're going to trade him, and I don't know what the value is going to be. But that whole situation, now they're paying McDaniel. They're still paying Gruden. That's a
mess.
That's a crazy. The half man's got to be spinning.
What's that?
The half man's got to be spinning in his grave right now.
Oh, you may be surprised what the half man has to say today.
We'll find out. But yeah, it's a shame. Again, I'm not a Raider fan, but that's one of those franchises that when we grew up, it was always a good franchise. The 70s, 80s, even into the 90s, the Raiders were the Raiders. Now it's like they're a joke. They got some talent and they just can't seem to put it together. They don't pick the right players. The right coaches. And again, McDaniels has probably coached his last game as a head coach in this league. But Jeff, it's if you're Al Davis and John Madden, you kind of got to beside the half man, you're probably spinning in they're spinning their grain as well.
Yeah, I'm sure the half man is not happy in their present situation, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's bad, but we'll see. And then they tap not even a coordinator. They tapped the linebackers coach Antonio Pierce as the interim head coach. I'm not sure I understand that move.
Wasn't he a Steeler?
I know he played for the Giants. I'm trying to think who he played for before he came to the Giants. I think it was Pittsburgh, and then he came to the Giants, won the Super Bowl with the Giants, and he actually lived in my town.
Really?
I passed his house all the time. Big, really big house set way back. And it's funny, there was a report, I remember one day, that his pit bulls got out and they were terrorizing the neighborhood, and he had to come all the way back from practice.
Wow.
From wherever he was to get him caged up and put away. And they were out terrorizing the neighborhood. And then shortly thereafter, he got hurt. He hurt his neck. He got traded, I think, by the Giants, and then he wound up in the coaching ranks. And he's a big Raider fan growing up, and he got his dream job, and now he's the interim head coach, and more than likely will be the head coach next year. I'll be shocked if he doesn't get the job next year.
Well, you know what? Don't shock yourself, because remember that other guy that they had as the interim head coach? He did really good, took the team to the playoffs.
Yes,
sure. And then they didn't even fucking give him a second thought, it seems.
You're right. They hired McDaniel. You're 100% right. Yeah, I forgot about that guy. The Ducci. I don't know.
Italian fella. He actually did a pretty good job with them.
He did. Yeah, Rich something or other. But yeah, he did a really nice job. And then I don't even know if he got interviewed for the job. I think they kind of bypassed.
I think he got interviewed for the job, but it just didn't work out.
Well, we'll find out. That's a disaster. And if you're the Giants and you don't go there and drop a 30 spot on them and take advantage of that situation and get healthy, boy, oh boy, it's going to be a long season. So we'll see what happens there. Some interesting over the weekend. Let's start with the Chiefs, Jeff, which was directly affecting our fantasy team. But Patrick Mahomes was a shell of himself. They go out and they lose for the first time. They've won 16 straight games against their division on the road, and I think they beat the Broncos. I want to say like 12 straight times with Mahomes. Like, they've been dominant on the road in their own division, and then they go to Denver and get their heads handed to them. It's an interesting season, man. I can't explain it. I don't know if Frankie can explain it, but that's just the craziest thing. I want to open up and see something here. So right now in the AFC West, Jeff, Seattle's in first. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the NFC West. Kansas City still in first place at 6-2. The Chargers and the Raiders are 3-4, and Denver is 3-5.
I think they have a strong enough hold on that division. I don't think they got to worry about slipping in that division.
Oh, now,
Maybe in
no.
the conference.
Yeah, well, I think what I've seen so far this year for both sides, both conferences, is last year's two best teams, the Eagles and the Chiefs, are both playing well enough, but I don't think either team are any good. The problem is I don't know who is. Now the Chiefs have to go to Germany and play. Chiefs have to go to Germany and play the Dolphins. Which, by the way, who came up with the idea to play this game, one of the best games of the season? Thinking about it, two of the best offensives out there, two of the best teams in the AFC at 9:30 in the morning in Germany. Like, why are we? What, Jeff? Who came up with this brilliant idea?
That's marketing, Tom. I would think, and not for nothing, this is a great game to play in Germany for the Germans.
So? Yeah,
not for us. For the Germans, they want to showcase. The NFL has ideas and plans that, of course, we don't know. But if you don't think that they don't want to be in Europe soon, whether it's a team, games, whatever, sooner or later, you're going to see a lot of this. I guarantee you, sooner or later, you're going to see a Super Bowl.
Oh, 100%.
In Europe.
I'll guarantee you in the next 10 years, there's a Super Bowl in London. No doubt in my. The only thing that could possibly keep them from doing it is the time difference. Because you think about it, I think it's 5 hours. So if you wanted to play an 8 o'clock game there, right, you'd have to start it here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's not prime time here. So that is the only thing I think that could possibly keep them from doing it. But you're right. I think we're headed for a Super Bowl in London, or in Europe. But I think it's going to be London first because they've done the games there for years. But I'm sorry, I get your point, and you're right. It's all about marketing. But to me, this is a tough game to be sent across the pond.
It's all about money. I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. Why should our games be over there? But they're trying their hardest. As far as I know, there's other hockey leagues. There's other basketball leagues.
Sure.
This is the only country that has football as we know it. They have soccer that they call football, but they don't have football like this. They have rugby, which is very similar, as you know.
Sure.
But they don't have football. And I honestly and truly think that they want to expand the game, of course. They're trying to expand the brand. And listen, it is what it is. The money is what's big. They don't care about anything else. You know that.
Nope. You're 100% right. And again, let's run through the league a little bit right now. I want to talk about a couple things.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to get something from over there on the other side. I just want to check the dog because I don't hear him moving. I'll be right.
Do your thing. This is Hard Rocket Sports. Jeff and Tom here on the Thursday night, start of the holiday season here. That's right. This is the start of the holiday season on the Hard Rocket Sports Show. We will start integrating a lot of holiday music and talk each week. So thanks for tuning in. We're a couple weeks from Thanksgiving. I can't believe we're 3 weeks, I think, 3 Thursdays from Thanksgiving. One of my favorite holidays. First off, I love the food. I love the day. I do. I want to get Jeff's opinion, but it's the second best holiday. Christmas is the best holiday. No, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Christmas, the whole season, it's all about that. But second best holiday is Thanksgiving. Jeff, I was just talking about we're 3 weeks from Thanksgiving. So
pretty sick, right?
Yeah. So to me,
and I got to disagree with you on your rankings.
Really? So what comes before Thanksgiving?
My preference,
sure,
believe it or not, is 1, Christmas, of course.
Yeah, easy.
Okay. 2, Halloween.
You're putting Halloween.
Yes.
Before Thanksgiving.
Yes.
You're not even American. I've decided.
I'm going to tell you why.
You're going to have to really tell me why, because that is the most un-American holiday as opposed to Thanksgiving. But go ahead, please.
Okay. One, when you think of Halloween, right?
Yep.
Halloween starts off everything. Okay.
Agreed.
Labor Day. Okay, that's a holiday, but that ends the summer. But Halloween starts the fall, the cool weather, the Christmas, everything leaning. You transition from Halloween. You can leave the same decorations up and stuff, and transition right into Thanksgiving mode. Thanksgiving is just a meal. It's not what it once was. Everybody's waiting for Black Friday and to go shopping. So to me, it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and then New Year's is the last.
Okay, I would. Okay, I'm not. All right, I'll live with it. Go ahead.
And I mean, listen, do I like eating on Thanksgiving? Yes. I watch my wife go ballistic, cooking a 22-pound turkey every year for me and her. She makes all these stuffings and everything else. We eat for 10, 15 minutes, and then we try to clean up once we could move, and then it's over. And then I start busting balls. Can I light the tree? Can I light the tree? Can I light the tree? And then that's it. Then it's over.
Well, I disagree. I mean, first off, we have a big family turnout, so that's always a good thing. My mom goes crazy, makes a lot of stuff. I like the day. It's family. You're watching football. You got a couple of classic movies that come on that day. What's up there, Mr. Mike Weissman? And you know what, Jeff? It also means the start of the selling of the Sunday Audible. And all of us, all the great line from our friends at Hemp Wizard. And it's starting the holiday season, folks. So I guarantee you, if you go to hempwizard.net, you can get not only this great fragrance, but their complete line of beard care and skincare products personally endorsed by our good friend, Mr. Jeff Kowinski. Is that not correct, Jeff?
Yes, it is. But, listen, it is great products. I love it. I love the way my beard feels when I use it. I got to get some more cleanser. I haven't gotten any in a while. But, listen, I understand what you're saying about Thanksgiving, but it's a sandwiched holiday. It's a food holiday.
Yeah,
it's
but
more,
nobody pays attention to Halloween. It's a kid holiday. The only thing good about Halloween is it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. That's it.
The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. Look right here. I don't know if you could see it. Let me see if we can get anything going. I don't think you can. We're a little tied up here right now. But I have my pumpkin lights up on the top of my desk. They're on. I got my pumpkin in the back and the little. I got a roll top desk. So I got a pumpkin in the cubby that he's over there. And we'll transition over to, I got this fella right here. My wife put him here. He's got something that smells good in there. I got this thing, the tree, like a woman. I got a whole bunch of Halloween stuff.
I'm a fan. Yes, absolutely.
We got this fella right here. Nothing but toys.
Listen, I got a room full of them too. I love the fact that you're a fan of Halloween. No reason not to be. I'm okay with it, but you can't have Halloween as number two. At number three, I'll bow to you. Number three, but at number two, Thanksgiving. It's turned into a weekend worth of holiday. It's got great food. It's got great movies, lots of football, and a lot of family. So to me, Thanksgiving's number two. Halloween, that's your number three. It doesn't make my top five. Does not make my
Halloween. Don't make your top five.
Won't make my top five.
Wow. What the fuck could possibly be in your top five?
Christmas.
Okay.
Thanksgiving. New Year's. 4th of July. 4th of July is a big one. It's a great holiday.
What do you do 4th of July?
I go away. I barbecue. Lots of cool stuff. It's patriotic. It's our country. It's got to be. It's got to be in the top five.
I understand that. There's nothing better than standing outside in 100 and something degree weather with your nuts stuck to your leg, barbecuing a hamburger.
Maybe.
Listen.
Absolutely.
I look at the years ago when I used to work. 4th of July. I work 4th of July's, as you know.
Yep,
my 4th of July shot.
By
the time I get home, I don't get invited to parties and barbecues because I'm busy working.
Yep.
So people don't even bother to ask. But when I did, it would be great because you would go to a barbecue. There'd be 20, 25 people there. You'd hang out all day. drink, eat, everything else. Now it's me and my wife. We go to Met's, the food store around the block, buy a pack of 4 hamburgers, throw them on the grill. Maybe she makes a mac salad or potato salad, and then that's it. Maybe if I'm in the mood, I have a few beers, but then I'm like, I got to go to work tomorrow, so what's the point? So while the concept of 4th of July is cool, the actual holiday 4th of July, maybe if I had somebody to hang with, I mean, there's nothing wrong with hanging with my wife, don't get me wrong.
No, of course not.
You know, a couple people were hanging, like when I have the barbecues in the summer. From what I remember, they seem to be pretty cool.
Yes.
I don't remember them very well.
I'm sure you don't remember very much of it, but yeah.
No, not at all. That means I had a good time. If you don't remember, you're doing it right.
I guess so. Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom on a Thursday night. We got a little more time. We got a few more things to talk about. I want to get over to some music stuff before we run out of time, in case I do decide to shut this down a little early tonight. I got a lot of stuff to do tonight. I brought home a lot of work. It's been a tough summer. I got to tell you, this has been a tough year. My work has overtaken my life. I've missed more things. I've buried myself all summer. I knew it was coming. I poured 40,000 yards, no exaggeration. We poured 40,000 yards of concrete from April through right now. We're pouring the last of my big pours tomorrow. And no, actually, it was today. I'm sorry. We poured 350 yards today, and now it's back to normal, and I'm getting out of town. But it's been enough. I'm tired, but I got a couple more days of this before I can rest my head. So, but anyway, I do want to talk a little bit about music. Interesting, Jeff. I stumbled across another list. We're big on lists on this show, right? We've gone through the best singers list. We've gone through the bass players list. Well, there's a top 250 guitarists in Rolling Stone. And the reason I bring it up is George Lynch. You know who George Lynch is, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so George Lynch was either upset or not upset or didn't care. But George Lynch did not make the Rolling Stone top 250 guitarists of all time. Does that surprise you?
Huh? No, not at all. Not at all.
Why because you don't think George Lynch is very good? Or do you think because Rolling Stone is a jerk-off publication at this point?
Well, I don't think the Rolling Stone 250 top guitar player list is very good. How's that?
Have you seen it?
No.
Would you like to see it?
Yes, definitely, without a doubt.
Okay, so I'm gonna share it onto the screen here, and then we're gonna go through. I don't know if we're gonna go through 250. I figured we concentrate on basically the top 25, and then if we want to jump around and see who's where, we can probably do that. Does that work for you?
Whatever you want to do, man. I don't care. I'll go over all 250, 5 of it. I don't care, because I'll tell you right now, half of them we're probably not even going to know who half of them are, and half of them are going to be people you're going to be like, what? Like, okay, I see that you started off with Randy Rhoads. Where are you going, backwards to 25?
No, we're starting at 25. So I'm going to start there and work my way to number 1, and then we'll see if we want to expand on the list. We can talk about it. So these are the top 25 guitar players of all, according to Rolling Stone, of all time. I would tell you, I went through half the list. I probably didn't know half of them, and the ones I did know, a lot of them I never even listened to. So but it was surprising some of the people left off. Let's hit it real quick. 25, John Frusciante, who is Red Hot Chili Peppers.
He definitely belongs on the list of 250, but I don't know about 25.
Too high?
Definitely.
Oh, let's see where we go from there. James Burton, chicken picking style. Should he join Ricky Nelson's band? Jeff, you know much about Mr. James Burton?
No, I do not. Never even heard of him before.
All right, but he's in the top 25. He's number 24. So we'll figure out at some point.
Little X there.
Oh,
on the page.
Yes, I can. Yes, good call.
If you don't mind, please, so I can see you. Beautiful.
Okay, so I get rid of this guy too over here. Okay. Next at 23, a surprise pairing here. Again, good guitar players. Are they better than the other guys we'll talk about in Hetfield and Kirk Hammett? Jeff, 23, too high for these guys?
Nah, you know what? As a pairing, I'm surprised they paired them like that. But James Hetfield is an incredible rhythm guitar player, and plus he sings on top of it. And Kirk Hammett is a very good lead guitar player. I think they should be ranked separately. And also, don't forget, James Hetfield is just a songwriter, also for Metallica. So I don't have a problem where they are.
But would you put them ahead of the classic Priest and Maiden guitar pairing duos? As guitar players, strictly as guitar players now.
Because of Kirk Hammett, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Because they're better players.
I don't agree, but okay. Okay. But as a duo, all right, we'll go. Next up is Albert King, pioneer of electric blues. Left-handed, played a right-handed 1959 Gibson Flying V upside down. Don't know much about him, Jeff. Can't really say.
Well, he's a blues guy, and there was a time where the blues guys, late 50s, early 60s, Born Under a Bad Sign. I know that Cream covered that song at one point in time. He was influential. Without knowing the whole list, and I'm not saying to go over the whole list, but he would definitely be on the 250, without a doubt.
Okay, let's move on to number 21, which guitar legend, short timer Randy Rhoads has made the top 25.
Way too low on the list.
Okay, so you're thinking he should be closer to the top.
Way closer
top
to the top.
5. Okay. All right, so let's see who beat out Randy Rhoads at this point. Next up is Stevie Ray Vaughan. Now, some people would say Stevie's probably too high on this list.
Definitely not too high on this list. If anything, he should be higher on that list.
You think he should be above the 25 mark?
Stevie Ray Vaughan is incredible. You have to listen. You should do yourself a favor. Listen to Texas Flood when you get a chance. But listen to it when you have a clear head and you can listen to it, man. He does some amazing things. He's an incredible guitar player, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
All right, so Stevie's at 20. So you think he should be lower on the list, being closer to the top, closer to 1, number 5. Okay, same to Randy Rhoads.
I would say top 15. Top 15 to top 10.
All right, another guy, Freddie King. I don't know much about Freddie King.
Neither do I. I'd be lying if I said anything.
With fellow British. Yeah, I don't know much about it. So, again, next up is 18, Tom Morello. Do you put Tom Morello up at this high on the list?
Should be lower. Definitely not ahead of Randy Rhoads. He should be lower.
Yeah.
If you listen to Audio Slave and Rage Against the Machine,
I would agree with you.
He's a lot of trickery on guitar.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Tom Morello. I'm just not a big fan, but a good guitar player, no doubt about it.
You know why he's on that high up on the list?
I feel like way too high on the list.
He's if you look down, go back down a little bit. Stay right there. If you look at what he says, no, go back up to the text. Keep going to the text. Okay. If it says right there, Morello's blend of gizmos and thunderous chords brought to mind hero like da da ba ba. He added even more souped up moxie to his playing. Where was it? I just saw about the effects. There was a line about him using the
with just his guitar effects, pedals, and imagination. Morello's blend of gizmos and thunderous chords brought to mind heroes like Stooges, Ron Ashton. But Morello added an even more souped up moxie to his playing.
Yeah, he does too much. And the Rolling Stone, I know, is a bit of a liberal publication, and Tom Morello is a big liberal too.
Yep, I agree. That's why he's this high up on the list as he is. I agree.
Yeah.
Next up at 17 is another Mother Mabel Carter. I don't know much about. Seems to be playing. I don't. That a Chapman stick? What is that?
No, that's not the Chapman stick. That it's not steel guitar. There's another name for that. I don't know what that is, but I never heard of her either, so I don't know who she is.
But again, his person I've never heard of. You never heard of. I don't know. We'd have to maybe. So we're gonna pass by number 17 and wonder how she beat, Randy Rhoads and Stevie Ray Vaughan. In my opinion.
Yeah.
I think they
Hear
tried to
that.
go a little too deep. Next up, Robert Johnson, again, one of the all-time greats in the blues world, Crossroad Blues. One of those guys that everybody knows the name. I don't know. I guess Jeff, you have an opinion on 16 Robert Johnson?
I actually tried to listen to some of his stuff, and it is recorded in such a way. Like, I believe he died in like 1936 or 1938, and it was recorded 1938. It's recorded just like you would imagine something was recorded in 1938. It sounds horrible, and there's only 20. First of all, here's an odd thing about him. There's only a couple pictures of him that are known to be in existence. Okay,
Really?
that's one thing. Yeah, and I just saw it on the thing real quick as I'm looking through. There's only 29 songs that he recorded in 1936 and 1937, and then he ended up dying in 1938. So here's a man's career that lasted about 2 years.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. But yeah, again, he must have made a big.
I see Led Zeppelin in there. If you go up, it says Cream, Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, and the White Stripes all covered his songs. So he was influential on the blues rock world, without a doubt.
Couldn't agree more. But does that put him with guitar playing up there? I don't know. But next up is a guy I don't understand. I know a lot of people think he's a great guitar player. Maybe he is. I don't know. Keith Richards has made the top 15. Your thoughts on the Rolling Stone guitarist Keith Richards?
He's gonna be in the top 25 just because he's Keith Richards.
Okay, take that out as just strictly as a player. Do you put him in that in this range?
Me, no, I don't think. He doesn't do much for me. But like I said, there's reasons why they're all where they are, and because he's Keith Richards.
100%. Yep, it's strictly based by name and the band he plays in. An interesting pick here at number 14 is Prince. A lot of people love Prince as a guitar player. I'm not a big fan. I think the guy's a douche, but did some nice stuff. Again, another guy with a lot of effects and pedals and stuff. But Jeff, how do you feel about
definitely
Prince
a talented guy? Bass on guitar and bass, and listen to While My Guitar Gently Weeps with George Harrison, Jeff Lynne, I think Tom Petty. There was a whole bunch of them that played it, and he did the solo of that song, and he just like unbelievable what he did. He has talent. He definitely belongs, maybe not as the guitar player, but for talent wise, I could see him being in the top 50, but I don't know about top 25.
No, he's top 15 at this point. So, all right, let's move on. Next up is your rock legend. And guys, people think as the riff master himself, Mr. Tony Iommi comes in at number 13. How do you feel about Tony Iommi being 13th on this list?
He should have been a little bit higher. I would say top 10 he should have been in, only because he helped usher in a genre of music. Listen, it's Tony Iommi, man. He definitely earned his right. He wrote some incredible riffs and gave us some of the most iconic heavy metal music ever. So definitely, without a doubt, he definitely belongs in the list. I think he should be a little higher. Not much, a little bit.
I agree with that. Next up is Jimmy Nolan. I don't know Jimmy Nolan. He joined James Brown. He was in the James Brown band. Let's see, beginning with the 1965 landmark Papa's Got a Brand New Bag. Again, I don't know much about Mr. Nolan, but he seems to be pretty high up on a list for us. So any thoughts on Jimmy Nolan being number 12?
No, dude, I don't even know. I never heard of him until just now.
All right, let's move on to number 11, which is Carlos Santana. I think Carlos Santana is a talented guitar player. The problem with Carlos Santana is the same thing I have with Yngwie Malmsteen. Everything they do sounds the same to me. It's nice stuff. I got it. I'm not disagreeing with you. I get it. That's the style of music, but it all sounds the same. It sounds like you take the same solo and you move it over. I don't see, and I'm sure as a real guitar player would probably say, "Oh, play your stuff. It's incredible." I get all of that, but listening to it with a little bit of music knowledge, very little I have, I listen to it and I hear the same thing. I just hear the same tone. I hear the same rhythm. It just doesn't do it for me. I definitely think he makes the list. I honestly, truly would probably have him in the top 25, maybe, but certainly not this high, Jeff. And certainly not ahead of Tony Iommi and Randy Rhoads and Stevie Ray Vaughan.
No, definitely not. Definitely not Randy Rhoads. Maybe ahead of Tony Iommi if he was in the top 10. Santana, but listen, you're right. His stuff does sound a lot alike, but he is good, but it's not for me.
No, I agree. And again, it's personal preference. I get it, but when you're creating a list like this one, you kind of got to put guys in there for different reasons. I don't know. It doesn't. Next up at number 10, Jeff, is Dwayne Allman. He, I guess, died at 24 years old when he was in 1970 in a motorcycle crash. But he seemed to write a lot of music, and people hold him high. I am not an Allman Brothers fan. I am not necessarily a Dwayne Allman fan. I could not answer to this, but is Dwayne Allman the top 10 guitar player of all time? You're 100% right. Absolutely.
You know, I've listened. I could listen to some of the Allman Brothers. They're not one that I would go and like, I got to listen to them right now and put them on. But I could listen to some of them. I like to listen to them in the summertime if I got a barbecue going because their songs are kind of long. But he broke into like the blues rock world at a time when it was mostly rock. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm trying to justify why he's in the top 10, but would I put him in the top 10? Definitely not. Is he a good guitar player and influential? Yes. In that world of music, definitely.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's move on to number 9. Here we go, Jeff. This is the cream of the crop. If you're in the top 10 guitar players of all time, to me, you got to be not only great, you got to be well known. You got to have done something spectacular, in my opinion. I don't know if you would agree with your top 10, but you'd have to be completely influential. You have to be maybe a big selling artist, and you certainly got to be great. You got to have done something tremendous. Would you agree?
I would have to say, yeah, of course.
All right, so here's number 9. Jeff, folk singer Joni Mitchell has made her way to the top 10 inside. I'm sure Joni Mitchell's a nice guitar player. I just can't put a folk guitar player ahead of some of the guys like Tony Iommi, like Stevie Ray Vaughan, like Randy Rhoads, like Dwayne Allman to a certain extent. I can't put Joni Mitchell there. I've heard enough of her stuff to say, sounds nice, but why am I putting her in the top 9, Jeff?
I don't know why you're putting her in the top 9 either.
So, all right.
You know, I think they put her in the top 9 more because of her as an artist, not her as a guitar player, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a top 250 guitar player list. Is there a place for her on the list? Probably. Is it supposed to be number 9? Probably not. What's next in 20 years from now? Is that Taylor Swift in number 9? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I 100% completely agree with you. But let's see who is number 8, Jeff. And that is BB King. Now, BB King's a hell of a guitar player. Does BB King deserve to be number 8?
No. I matter of fact, I would switch him and Stevie Ray Vaughan and not have a problem about it.
Not even thinking twice. I think it's a good guitar player.
Guitar players, you know, does a lot of things. Do I think he's better than Stevie Ray? No, I don't. That doesn't mean that I'm right either, but I don't.
Yeah, I would agree with you. All right, let's move on to number 7. We'll see. Again, we're running down the top 25 guitar players as placed in by Rolling Stone. Jeff and I, maybe someday we'll do our own. We've done these lists a few times, but you know, we're not agreeing with this list so far. But let's see what they have at number 7, and that is Nile Rodgers, Jeff. Here's a guy who I guess was a big on the 70s disco hits like "Le Freak" and "Good Times." Warp Speed guitar player on the 1980 Diana Ross classic "I'm Coming Out." Biggie Smalls, he did the work on "More Money, More Problems." Jeff, you got any thoughts on Mr. Nile Rodgers at number 7 ahead of some of the most classic guitar players of all time?
Well, listen, he's influential in his field. That's about the best that I'm going to say. Does he deserve to be? Was it number 8 on the list? Definitely. I don't.
Number 7.
7. No, he could be on the list, and he can't be number 7.
I agree with you 100%. Next up, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, Jeff. Sister Rosetta Tharpe has made it a sexually fluid black woman. Explain what sexually fluid black woman means. Does that mean she dabbled in the nether regions of the female persuasion?
I don't know.
What sexually fluid black woman? I've never heard that.
She looks like Lizzo, whatever her name is.
Yeah, it's
they're about the same size.
Yeah, Sister Rosetta Tharpe smashed any number of taboos. So I believe she was a gay black woman. Just judging from this, before rockabilly was this, she practically invented the concept of the guitar hero. Her picking arpeggios on 1945 Strange Things Happening Every Day. Let's see, a lot of people have journeyed to let's see. Well, that's why I guess she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And Harp died in 2013, but I don't know, Jeff. As a sexually on the fluid,
you're number 6 on the list, and they put one song down as a must listen to. That's not backing up your claim to be number 6. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's like putting Paranoid down for Tony Iommi. You know what I mean? You just don't do it.
Exactly. Read Frankie's comment.
I know nothing about it other than that.
Yeah. All right. Number 5, Jeff Beck. Never wanted to be a guitar hero. Quit the Yardbirds. Disbanded the Jeff Beck group, declining a Woodstock gig, and let other bands fizzle before they even got famous. Again, a lot of name here. I am not the biggest Jeff Beck fan. I think he's a great guitar player. And Jeff, what's your feelings on Jeff Beck being in top 5?
Well, he's in about where he belongs to be. Those songs, Freeway Jam, Cause We Ended as Lovers and everything, Beck's Bolero, those are good songs. Anything that I've ever heard, the album Blow by Blow, and there's another Jeff Beck album I just downloaded off of Apple the other day. Some incredible stuff. He was an excellent guitar player. He seemed to play different styles of music. He's good. He's good. I don't have a problem with him at number 5.
Okay. All right, there you go. We finally get one that Jeff and I agree with Rolling Stone, but we took a while. Number 4, let's see. This may be too low on the list for me. Maybe need to be higher, but at 4, Jeff, is the one and only Eddie Van Halen. Obviously, we're both fans of his playing. Jeff, does Eddie Van Halen deserve to be at 4? Should he be higher? Should he be a little lower? Where should he be?
Right now, I'm going to reserve judgment and say that he's definitely a top 5 player overall. I need to see the rest of the list to see if he belongs in number 4 or if he should be higher, but it's at least nice to see they got it right and they put him within the top 5. I'm anticipating Hendrix to be there. Maybe like I'm talking within the top 5 now. Okay, probably somebody stupid like somebody from the Beatles.
Who? Okay. Who do you think, maybe, if you had to guess the top 3, who would you think is going to be there that you haven't seen so far?
Yngwie Malmsteen.
Okay.
Maybe Joe Perry.
Okay.
I don't know, because they pull people out of it, like who some of these people are. I don't know. You know, you're looking at the list now?
No, I'm not. I've not gone that far. I would say I would agree with Frankie. I think Page winds up there. I think you're going to see Hendricks up there. I don't know who else you might see. I don't see Joe Perry. Townsend, I don't think gets to Hendricks for sure.
I think Townsend definitely
top,
on the list further down the line. Page, yeah, I forgot about him. Maybe
agree.
Billy Gibbons too.
Okay, let's see who they have as number 3, Jeff, and see if they're worthy to be ahead of the people that we've been talking about. Number 3 is Jimmy Page. Now, I am not a Jimmy Page fan. I think Jimmy Page is overrated. I can't argue him being at number 3 based on the band and the iconic way that he's been talked about. Do you have a problem with Jimmy Page being 3 and ahead of some of the people that we've seen so far?
Yes. Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because like you just said, it's not so much that I think he's overrated, all right? Because I just recently really started to get into Led Zeppelin a lot more. But the one thing I'll say, like, compare him to Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen is 50 times more the cleaner player than Jimmy Page could ever hope to be. Jimmy Page sounds like the guy that's really good, but would go out and play and start doing fucking shots of whiskey from when he got there till he played. And by the time he got on stage, he was just destroyed. And all this cleanliness is just gone. I personally think that Led Zeppelin as a whole, if you look at them, it was Bonham, John Paul Jones, the singer, and then Jimmy Page in order of who I think is the more talented in the band. I would think that those other 3 other guys in the band were more talented than him. My opinion. And guys, that I'm right.
Joey, I think you are. And Joey, I disagree with the guys in Skinner. I don't think there's anybody there that belongs in the top 10. Frankie, Brian May is an interesting one. I love Brian May. I love his tone. I think he's a great guitar player. I am surprised not to see him in the top 25. I don't know where he is. We can go back and look and see where certain guys are. If we want to look them up, we could try to look up guys and see where they wound up. So we'll do that. But Jeff, let's see who number 2 and number 1 are. We're down to 2 and 1 on the list of 250 guitar players in Rolling Stone magazine. So far, I would say an underwhelming an underwhelming top 25. Would you say?
Without a doubt, it usually is.
Okay, let's get to number 2. I agreed. Chuck Berry at number 2. Interesting choice. A great guitar player. Very influential. I would have him in my top 10. I would not have him at number 2.
I have no problem with him being at the top 25. I just don't think he should be in the top 2. Definitely not the top 2. Definitely the top 25.
Agree. And,
yeah, not the top 2.
Oh yeah. Agree. And number 1, Jeff, it's going to have to be. I don't think there's any choice considering all the guitar players that are missing. It's got to be Jimi Hendrix, in my opinion, right? Would you agree?
You would like to think, but you never know.
No.
My backup plan. There he is.
Is Jimi
there
Hendrix.
He is.
Is number 1. If he wasn't in the top 25 anywhere, he had to keep climbing the ladder. Again, I think Jimi Hendrix, Eddie Van Halen, and Randy Rhoads are the 3 most influential hard rocking guitar players I've seen. That's my opinion. There's the guys who did things differently than everybody else. I am not a Jimi Hendrix fan. I think his voice is horrendous. I am not a fan of the music he plays. I think he's extremely talented. What he does, nobody was doing. But Jeff, in my opinion, deserves to be on the list. We can argue top 2, top 3, top 1, but definitely a guy who deserves to be high up on this list.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt, he deserves to be high up on this list. I like a lot of his stuff. I mean, I don't sit and listen to it all the time, but I have enough of it on my phone. So I do, listen to him from time to time. And groundbreaking, a lot of his recording techniques were groundbreaking.
Yep.
You didn't hear much of the way of other people recording like he did. I like some of his stuff. I like a lot of his stuff. But listen, I would like to see some of his stuff remastered and see what it would sound like today if it was written and recorded today. But I like his stuff, man.
Interesting. Okay, but as as the top guitar player of all time, any issue with it? Do you think
No,
who should have been
no.
in the top? Who should have been there?
What's
If you
that?
had to if you were to change the top 3 or 4 guitar players on this list, how would you rank it, in your opinion?
Well, you know what? Van Halen was number 4, right?
Correct.
Okay, so now we could redo the top 4, so to speak. I
Okay.
have no problem with Jimi Hendrix being on the top spot. I think
Okay.
Van Halen should be second or third on the list,
Okay.
without a doubt. Jimmy Page, for overall what he did as a songwriter in Zeppelin and everything else, I could see him being within the top 5. Somebody mentioned Brian May. Brian May should have definitely been on the list somewhere within the top 25. Frank
100%.
Catalano, he brings up a point about John Lennon and George Harrison. Without a doubt, they should have been in there. I don't know if I would have put them in the top 25, but maybe within the top 50. Brian May, without a doubt. Pete Townsend, that's a strange one, man. I don't know about Pete Townsend in the top 25. Top 50, I could go with. I don't know about top 25, but you want to know something? Think about this. Pick the top 25 guitar players. Okay? It's harder than you think. It's harder than you think to come up with 25.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you that once you hit about 10, 15, if you got that far, you're going to be like, oh, man, who the fuck else is next? Who are you picking? And then you're going to be maybe like fight the urge to put, well, Angus Young, I could slip him in the top 25. So, there's a lot of people on that list that I don't necessarily agree with. But, Brian May, he definitely should have been within the top 25. I could see that without a doubt.
All right, let me go. Let's end the show for a few more minutes, and let me try to give you top 75 or 50. Does that work for you? See if some of you guys wound up in that range. All right, let's see what we got here.
Time's got to be
get to our weekly. Let's see. I'm trying to get there. Let's see.
Frank Catalano, Dimebag's got to be a top 50, but he was pigeonholed into one genre of music, so to speak. I think it made him hard to get out of the metal category into
number 26. All right, well, here's number 70. Work our way down. Number 70 is Django Reinhardt.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that, Jeff. His songs are Django's Tiger, Djangology. So he wrote a lot of stuff about himself. So there's number 70. Number 69 is Robbie Robertson.
From the band.
Not my. Yep. Again, I'm just giving you who's in this so we get an idea where the list went. Number 68, Les Paul is in there at number 68 as the 68th best guitar player. That's an interesting one. A guy I like this. Couple guys I like to see on this list, Jeff, and I hope they make it. One is Glenn Campbell, a very underrated guitar player. And I'm a big Roy Clark fan. I like Roy Clark's guitar playing, but I don't know if they'll make
Roy
this
Clark.
list.
Did you ever see the clip of him playing on The Odd Couple?
Yes. Oh, I've 100 times, a million times.
Yeah,
I love it.
unbelievable.
Just watch his hee-haw stuff. I mean, as much as the guy was funny, one of the fastest guitar players. His rhythm hand is unbelievable. But all right, let's see if they make this list at all. We got 68 is Les Paul, 67 Mr. Kevin Shields. I don't know who Kevin Shields is.
Never heard of him.
I'm trying to see if he's not in my his angelic sludge of My Bloody Valentine. I'll have to move on. Never heard of this guy. Next at number 66 is Ry Cooder. Again, Hawaiian slack key guitar. I don't know much about Mr. Ry Cooder, Jeff.
Neither do I.
Let's move on. 65 is Mr. T-Bone Walker. Again, another guy I've heard the name, don't know much about it. Doesn't have much written about him, but T-Bone's number 65. I'm still not seeing some of the classic guitar players that we've had, but maybe we get closer to 50, we'll start to see some of them. 64, Jeff, Carrie Brownstein.
Don't know. Never heard of it.
I know much about Carrie. All right, let's move on to 63. Richard Thompson. There's a trend here of unknown, again, from our point of view, unknown guitar players. Guys, if anybody's heard of these people, please let me know. But not much, a little bit of Celtic music. I don't know much else about it. Number 62 is Peter Green. Eric Clapton replacing.
He was in Fleetwood Mac.
I don't know much about Peter Green. He was?
I believe, yes. I believe he died young. I may be wrong.
It does not.
Matter of fact,
say that anyway here. Well, he said Green survived the dark age of mental and health problems, returning in the 90s with more subdued but recognizable gifts. So I don't know much about him. John Mayer makes the list at number 61, Jeff. I know people think of John Mayer as a really good guitar player. I am not a fan, so I'll leave that to you. I know you're a big fan of John Mayer's. So
I know nothing about John Mayer other than he hit Jessica Simpson in the can. And that was
that's about all we know here. Okay, so 60.
Hit her on the mud road.
61. 60, Scotty Moore, who is Scotty Moore, who was Elvis's guitar player for a lot of years. Good guitar player. Again, number 60. I don't know. I'd like to see who he beat. Let's see who's below this. It's hard for me to. I think Scotty was a nice guitar player, but all right, we'll see. Jeff missed 59 is Mr. Robert Fripp, King Crimson. I know the band, don't know much about them, but
no, very what's the word I'm looking for? Not progressive. I can't think of it. Kind of like progressive.
Psychedelic? Progressive?
No, not psychedelic.
Rock.
It's another word for them.
Okay. Yeah.
Progressive, something else. I can't remember. I'll remember, of course, when the show is over. Would you just look up Rolling Stones?
To see who winds up next, and that is Alex Lifeson at 58. That's
way too low.
That's all I did. I typed in Rolling Stones top 250 guitarists, and it popped up.
He's way too low.
Yeah, to me, look at the list. This is one of the most underrated guitar players of all time. We've had the underrated guitar players list, and he made my list. This is a guy who's a great guitar player who doesn't get the accolades because of the guys he played with. I mean, you're talking about two of the greats at their craft with the other two guys, but Alex Lifeson is no slouch.
Totally, I agree. Underrated.
Okay, let's move on to number 57. Thurston Moore and Lee Ronaldo. Sonic Youth. Don't know much about them, but they seem to be top of their craft, Jeff, at 57.
Oh, okay.
We'll just move on because I don't think you
really know who they are, but all we can say is okay.
Beat up with screwdrivers and dope. Okay. Yeah. Number 56 is Johnny Moore, the Smiths guitarist. I don't know much about Johnny Moore, but he must be good. He's at number 56 on this list. We'll move on to number 55. And Mick Taylor is at number 55 on this list. Again, I don't know. I can't.
Where they got these people, man? Like, I would like to.
I guess he was in Rolling Stones for a while.
Bonnie Raitt.
You can do that, and maybe next week we'll kind of we'll start. We'll go up a little higher and start it. We'll end it with this section of it. Bonnie Raitt at number 54. Again, good guitar player. Let's see who she's beating out. We've seen some of the people, but let's see. 53 is Trey Anastasio. Again, that's much like let's see. Don't know much about Trey. Do you know much about Trey Anastasio, Jeff?
He's from the guitar player from Fish. They're like
Grateful Dead. There he is. Yeah, guitars.
Just keep moving. That's you don't want to spend too much time yet.
Going fast as I can. John Lee Hooker, again, another of the classic blues guitar players. I'm not a huge fan of the style, but all right, John Lee Hooker makes 52. We're getting close to the top 50, Jeff. Let's see who makes it. Tom Verlaine is at 51.
Who's that? Is
I
some
don't know where
haircut.
he's from, but he made 51 on the top.
That is some
That
haircut.
is some haircut. His mother hated him and got him that haircut. Well, his guitar
Sheila,
playing
you know who he
sounds
looks
like it
like?
makes up for it, Jeff.
He looks like Miss.
And-
what was that puppet's name in Mr. Rogers? Lady Elaine. He has the same haircut as Lady Elaine. Look at that haircut.
Oh my
Look at the
God.
nose.
That is, oh boy, that is interesting. All right, we're on to top 50. We'll go a few more, and then we'll end the show. We're let's see, number 50 right now, Jeff, is Elmore James.
I've heard of
Another
him.
slide guitar riffy. I've heard, but he said he practiced 12 hours a day every day until his fingers were bleeding. So Elmore James,
Dust My Broom.
definitely a
It's a
great
good
guitar
song.
player, I guess. Okay. Another one is 49's PJ Harvey, Jeff. Are you a fan of PJ Harvey's?
I never heard of her, so I don't know.
All right, well, she's great enough to be the top 50 on the list. And let's go to number 48 is Curtis Mayfield. I've heard of Curtis Mayfield.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it. But, again, another, I guess, pick. I don't know. Number 47, The Edge. I am not a fan of U2. I am not a fan of The Edge. Again, I think that band is three jerk-offs, but listen, whatever. Jeff, are you a fan of The Edge?
No, but I just like
He's
the way
playing?
you brand them jerk offs. Like they didn't even get a
Yeah,
chance to
they're just
explain
jerk-offs.
themselves. Jerk offs.
Nope. They're just jerk-offs. Jerk-off band. They're in the jerk-off section. There's a few bands in there. They're the first one. When you go through jerk-off section, it starts with you, and it goes you two. So that's where it starts. Frank Zappa at 46. Interesting choice. I think Frank Zappa was an innovator. Not the biggest fan, but Frank Zappa at 46. You have a problem in the top 50 being Frank Zappa?
Listen to Nanook Rubs It. You won't have a problem wherever they put him.
Okay, there you go. So we got Frank Zappa at 46. We got Mr. Steve Cropper, one of the great session guitar players of all time. I like Steve Cropper. I don't know if I put him in the top 50, but somebody likes Steve Cropper enough to put him in the top 50. Any issues with Steve the Colonel Cropper?
I have no idea who he is. I think they should change his Theo to an A. I'll go with that. Call him Steve Crapper.
Well, he was also in the movie The Blues Brothers. He was in the Blues Brothers band, so I give him a little bit of help. So we'll put him up there. How about there's one for you, Jeff? Johnny Ramone, one of your heroes.
Yeah, there you go, man. He definitely belongs within. I can see
100?
him being a lot higher up on the list, man. Come on, it's Johnny Ramone, bro. He's got to be higher up on the list.
Johnny
Think about
Ramone.
every number one.
He knew two chord shapes and three chords, and he made a career out of it. So I'll put him in the top 50. No problem. The
Yeah,
guy
he deserves to be there, man.
Two chord shapes and three chords. So Johnny Ramone at 44. We got 43, Johnny Greenwood and Ed O'Brien. I don't know who either one of those guys are. You have any
Radiohead.
idea who these guys are, Jeff?
I saw the song Creep, so I'm thinking Radiohead.
Yep, you're 100% right. Radiohead is correct, Jeff. Okay, so we'll move on. We don't. I have no. I wouldn't have. Okay, Vernon Reed from In Living Color, great guitar player. I'm not sure in the top 50.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, a great guitar player, no doubt about it. Not sure about top 50. I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, he top 50. Yeah, not much higher than 50. I would say between 50 and 40. I don't have a problem with that. He's about right. I feel.
Okay, so we got one there. Bo Diddley makes the list at 41. Jeff, as a guy playing some weird shaped guitars and did a lot of stuff. You got a problem with Bo Diddley in the top 41?
Not really. No.
All right, let's move on. Number 40 is John Fahey. I died in 2001 at age 61. American folk guitar player. I can't put a folk guitar player in the top 50 guitar players of all time, Jeff. I just can't do it, but maybe you can. You're a bigger fan of the folk music than I am.
No, I could do it.
On number 39, Chet Atkins. Chet Atkins, a little country music finally making their way into the top 50. We'll move past Chet Atkins and let you know where it's at. Number 38 is Angus Young and Malcolm Young have made the list, Jeff, at number 38. Oh, boy, that's an interesting pair. What do you think?
I would say, and right now, as far as we know, they're higher than the likes of Glenn Tipton and KK Downing, Adrian Smith, and Dave Murray.
That's what it looks like.
Also,
that's exactly right. I'm curious.
Matthias Jabs and Rudy Schenker.
Yep. Also, right now, ahead of the duo of Lennon and Harrison. There's a few guitar players missing so far. We haven't seen Brian May show up on the list yet. Let's see if they make it. We're running out of time, but let's see how far we get. Pete Townsend made the list at 37. Jeff finally showed up. Pete Townsend. Maybe he was researching child pornography. He was a little busy. He didn't get a chance to get to the list.
That's a sad thought.
So there's Pete, well known for breaking his guitars.
Do you ever notice they never, ever talk about that?
No, it completely went away. They investigated. I never heard if he was exonerated. I never heard if he was guilty. It just went and just never happened after that. But a guy who's part of a generation of guitar players, I guess so. Number 36 is Elizabeth Cotton, Jeff. Elizabeth Cotton is on top of this list. I've never heard of Elizabeth. Have you?
No. No, I'm not going to say it.
Okay, we'll move past 36.
I'm not going to say it. Eric Clapton.
Okay, so number 35 would be Eric Clapton. Now, seems to be a little low on this list, don't you think?
Yeah, very low on this list. I would say very low on this list.
Yeah,
that's top 25 talent to me.
Yeah, it's a little surprising. Yeah, and the guy that's sitting at 35 seems really odd to me, but okay, let's see who's slightly ahead of him. Jerry Garcia makes the list at 34. I'm not a huge fan of Jerry Garcia.
No, neither am I. Yeah. She looked like she was alive to pick cotton. Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah, I'm not buying into this one. Let's move. Finally making list at number 33 is a guy who's way too low on this list with Mr. Brian May, Jeff. I think this guy is another underrated guitar player, along with Alex Lifeson, two guys who should be much, much higher on this list.
You know we got to do our top 25 for next week, right?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We got no choice now. I think we're going to have to come up with our top 25. Next up is Jack White from the White Stripes.
Really? See, now this is how I know this list is a farce.
This is the wrong, and Joey Cloak said it right.
Woody Allen, yeah. Well, when you have Eric Clapton and Brian May underneath you and you're Jack White, you must have paid somebody. Alex
Lifeson's behind you on this one. Jack. Alex Lifeson's behind you on this list. Yeah, to me, Joe Cloak, you got it right. The same people who wrote this list keep Iron Maiden out of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 100% sure. So, number 31, finally, the Beatles shows up in George Harrison at number 31. Again, so let's see if there's any more Beatles. We got a couple more before we get to 25. So George Harrison makes the list at 31. Number 30 is Neil Young finally makes the list. Again, obviously he's a great guitar player. Yep. Is he too low? Is he too high? I'm not sure. This is an odd one for me. What's your thought?
I never thought of Neil Young as a guitar player, more as a singer, a performer, than a guitar player. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, I agree. I definitely would not
look
put
at these
him
songs,
before,
key tracks.
Lifeson and May.
Never heard of it. Powderfinger, never heard of it. At least Rockin' in the Free World. I mean, where's Cinnamon Girl? A couple others. No.
Yep, I agree. I'm with you on that one. Eddie Hazel, Jeff, makes the list ahead of some guitar greats. Les has that maggot brain, the 10-minute guitar solo that turned in the late Eddie Hazel into a Funkadelic band leader. Let's move on past that one. David Gilmour at number 28, Pink Floyd. David Gilmour. Jeff, you have a problem with David Gilmour at number 28?
I think a little high, but he's got to be on the list.
I'm with you. I would agree with that. The top 50 for sure. Not where he is. Let's see if there's we got George. Oh, no, Buddy Guy has made the list. I'm not sure who Buddy Guy is, but he's high enough on the list to be number 27. So we'll move past Buddy Guy. And Jeff, are you familiar with this young lady? Her name is St. Vincent Annie Clark, also known as St. Vincent.
Never heard of her.
She creates complex and atmospheric music. Can you imagine that St. Vincent is ahead of Brian May, Alex Lifeson, Eric Clapton? This is exactly why Rolling Stone is completely the most ridiculous trade thing. So next week, Jeff, you and I will do our top 25. We have to now after this. And maybe we'll go back and look and see if we can find some of our guitar heroes and where they wound up on this list. You already working on it?
No, I'm not. I'm writing it down, so I will have my top 25.
All right, there you go, my man. I will remind you, I promise. But Jeff, that's going to end our show for tonight. Before we do, let's talk a little bit. You've had some shows played recently. I've gotten to hear some of it online. What is the next big show? The 25th at Mother Pugs with the Remorons, or what we got coming up?
Yes, it is, man. That is 25th. Remorons at Mother Pugs, and December 30th, the Remorons also at Mother Pugs. So looking forward to these shows. We're
very nice.
Learning some new material. Hoping to get Johnny Ramone higher on next year's list.
Will there be any different chord shapes at this show? Will you guys get it? Will you guys invent some new chord shapes for the Ramones? Will there be?
Yeah, no, I don't think you can. I don't think they would have grasped it, but their chord changes are so simplistic that there's times when we go to start a song, we're actually asking, be like, which one is this? How does this start? Because there's so many of them that start the same way that we have to ask one another which one it is. And then sometimes we just wing it and we hope that we're on the same page. So it's great. I love it when the guitar starts and the bass comes in.
You play the same chord in a different song?
Yeah. Yes. That's happened.
You get a head start. Somebody gives you a head start.
Yeah. Everything has happened. You name it. Any kind of possible mistake that there's been, I've seen it happen. Or I've been part of it.
Oh, boy. Well, listen, it all still sounds great. You guys look forward to some big shows. And, of course, we've officially got our holiday jam, and it looks like a big full turnout this year.
I'm hoping. I am hoping, man.
Father Bob's agreed to come. We should have plenty of drummers, a couple of singers, three bass players in the house.
Three? Who's the third?
Johnny Collins is technically.
Oh, okay. I think he's coming more in the singer capacity.
I would agree, but he could strap on the bass for a song or two if need be.
It is possible.
If the other two bass players are outside talking amongst themselves, Johnny could throw on the bass if he needs to. There's a third guitar player, and if everybody shows up, which everybody seems to be excited about it, Jeff, we'll have a big turnout for our 10th jam of all time. I'm looking forward to this one.
I always look forward to them, man.
Absolutely. So, guys, it's been a blast tonight. We'll be back next Thursday night to do this all over again. We got football this weekend, the Giants Sunday night, but we can't end the show yet. I forgot. We got one thing to do before we end the show, and we got to get it in. We got to get in our.
See you later, Joe Cloak. But wait,
wait,
Joe Cloak. Wait for the Raider report.
Don't wait. You got to get the Raider report before we can let you go, Joe. Hold on.
Hey, boys, it's me, Don Chinta. I got a pep in my step that I haven't had in a long, long time. Let me explain. Had a meeting in Jesus' office a couple weeks ago. Got something proposed to me. Took me a while to figure it out. I figured it out. I'm accepting what he proposed to me. The Las Vegas Raiders are going to be the champions of the NFL for the 2023-2024 season. Here's the catch. As you may imagine, I have to give up something pretty big. Well, I had to decide if it was worth it or not. And I thought long and hard. And here it is. Jesus said to me that if I was to live life on earth as that of a tranny, he would allow the Las Vegas Raiders to win the Super Bowl. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, 'tis better to be a live tranny than a dead Dahmer. So, off to Earth I go, under the new name of Dominica, and the Raiders will become the champions of the NFL. I can't wait to host up that Lombardi Trophy. See you later.
Jeff, you might have just outdone yourself. So Dominic is coming back as Dominica, a tranny, so that the Raiders can win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And this is sponsored by Jesus.
Well, there was Jesus's idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. I would say I won't be driving in any cars with you. I probably will not be in any lightning storms with you because Jesus will strike you down for what you just wrote.
He might, but then again, how do you know Jesus ain't laughing?
It's true. I can't argue that point. I don't know. But I will tell you, I'll take no chances. You and I will stay out of the same vicinity for a little while until I know Jesus has officially not taken this too personal.
How do you know that right now?
Yep.
Because you can never figure out where these people are listening from when you figure this stuff out, right?
No, absolutely. No. Well, I know about where they are, but yeah, go ahead.
So you're always like, well, we have a small percentage from here, small percentage from there.
Yep.
Okay. And then we can never figure out where these people are from. And we say, come on, if you're here, say something, say hello, let us know where you're from and everything else. How do you know that maybe Dom didn't introduce Jesus to the Hard Rocket Sports Show for Thursday nights?
It's possible. You're 100% right.
Jesus is sitting in the room with Dom, and he looks at him right now, and he turns around and says, you know, this is a good idea. I can have some fun with this. And Dom's like, you better not. And Jesus,
Wait,
no, to win? Let's see what happens.
Oh, boy. Well, we'll see what the next Raider report brings you, and we'll see. Maybe Dom's going to be getting dressed up. We'll see if we see this. Anthony Carey, welcome aboard. Anthony, we're having a big holiday jam. If you're in the New York area for Christmas, we'd love to have you.
Yes, sir, Bobby.
We'd love to have you for the holiday jam on the 20th, Anthony. So if you're in the New York area, we definitely love to see you there. But in the meantime, guys, Joe Cloak, thank you again. Thanks to Frankie Catalano, Mike Weissman, Anthony Carey, everybody listening, checking in, guys. Thank you for doing that. It's a pleasure having everybody. We'll be back next Thursday. We're going to start our holiday chat. I'm going to start throwing some stuff at Jeff about the holiday, our favorite movies, videos, songs, characters, blah 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 blah. Whatever it is.
Waiting for the day that you do the contest, man. I want in.
Oh, we are definitely going to be doing our Christmas contest before, so stick around. I will get to that in the near future. I'll see. I got to put that up for contestants. I got to get off my ass and do that while I'm on vacation. It's going to be time. I'll have some more time. But in the meantime, we got to shut this down. I got to close this up. I got a lot of work to do before I go to bed tonight, and I got to get to work very early in the morning. So again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of the show. We'll be back next Thursday night, Jeff and I, from Lens Unknown, and do this all over again. So, Jeff, I'll give you the final word. Anything you want to say?
Good night, Joe Cloak.
Hell of a way to end the show, Jeff.
A lot of fun. And, there was no Pepe this week, but that's because there was no Broncos game. He'll be back next week, without a doubt. He's in parts unknown. I have ideas of where the half man is going next.
Okay.
and it's just going to go downhill from here. So
Oh boy. Well, we're looking forward to that. Maybe Pepe and Joe will cross paths at some point. I'm sure the Raiders and the Broncos will be playing each other soon. So who knows? But miss you too, Anthony. And we need all the God blessing we can get after that Raider report. So thank you for that. And in the meantime, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be back next Thursday night to do this all over again. So have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week, a great weekend, a great week. And we'll see you back here next Thursday night when the Hard Rock and Sports Show kicks off live at 7 p.m. So for Jeff Towinski, myself, and all of us here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show, thank you guys. Have a great week, and please be safe. See everybody later. Jeff, I'll talk to you off the air.
later, man.
Later, man.